Welcome back, everybody. So it is insanely cold again today. Not quite as windy as the past couple days, but I think the actual temp is still like -4, -5. Wind chills I think are like -10, so not crazy as far as that goes. But with really, really cold snaps like this, fishing can be tough, and the last time we were out was not phenomenal. Fish were a little bit skittish, so today we are fishing uber finesse. We're using this Akara Mormishka tungsten. I don't even know where I found it, but this is the smallest jig head I have ever seen in my life. It's not a 64th ounce. I don't even know if it's an 80th, but it's tiny, and hopefully we can catch some fish on it. Let's get after it. All right. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but this is what we're using today. Incredibly small. I might have to downsize line. Typically I use 2 to 3 pound leaders. It might have to be a 2 pound or potentially even 1 pound to get it through that line tie. I did drop it in the ice and I almost lost it already. So we are going to go ahead and try and rig this guy up. We have our hemostats because we are most certainly going to need those to probably get this out of some fish's mouths if they do actually bite it. But let's get it all rigged up and see if we can't catch a couple. All right, we were able to rig it up on 2 pound test. It wasn't the easiest, but it wasn't crazy either. And we're just gonna tip it with a single spike. I think this hook is too small. That's what we look like right there. I think the hook is too small to even attempt to put a waxworm on there. They're a little bit bigger, and also as soft as the waxworms are, I think we would end up getting it stripped pretty easily. So crazy enough, I can see it on live scope. We are sitting right next to a fish crib. There's a lot of small fish in the area. Hopefully there get to be some big ones at some point in time, but let's see if we can't catch a couple. We're on a brand new lake today too, so hopefully the fishing's a little bit better than the last time we had been out. Oh my Lord. That might be the smallest largemouth I have ever caught. I wonder if we can lip him. We can. Look at look at that guy. That is crazy. We'll go ahead and get a picture of him released. There's one. Well, some are biting. Little perch. Look how that other lake we were at the other day, they were so dark. Then you look at that guy, you can barely see bars on him at all. That's crazy. Well, it's two pretty darn quick, but they're small. I guess we probably shouldn't expect anything real big. It'd be nice though. Maybe we'll have to search around, but when it's this cold, not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of moving in weather this cold, but I don't even see that there's anything worth our time trying to catch down there. There are a bunch of fish cribs, so I assume this is a spot that we will come back to. Maybe put some tip-ups at, but there's nothing here right now, so we got to move to make today worth it at all. See if we can't catch a fish. Let's go. All right, we are finally able to find some fish after moving around an absolute ton. Obviously, once we ended up drilling those holes, all those fish left, but it looks like they're coming back, so that's great. Got them. And that's much better than what we were doing. There's some more down there. After that last spot, that tiny little bluegill and that tiny bass, which might be the smallest bass I've ever caught, We had to move. We made a long trek. I'm actually sweating from how far we actually went. But hopefully this paid off. There we go, little one, but it's a good start. We've only been here for all of 30 seconds, so all those fish did leave, but as soon as we dropped down, they came back pretty quick, so that's good. On the baby tungsten. Maybe we'll actually catch a few and hopefully catch some big ones, but we do have a sucker down also, just in case by some chance there's a big one that comes on over. He's moving around a lot though, so we might actually get tangled because he's able to get underneath this hole. But hopefully we end up with a bass or pike or something like that. Again, it's too cold to have tip-ups outside the shanty, because unless you're guaranteeing to keep those fish, the chance of them freezing gills and eyes are too high for what I want, for my comfort. But that's a good start. Let's see if we can't get some more. Oh, that was such a crazy light bite. Oh, he took our spike too. It's not super easy to tear a spike off. He must have just barely grabbed the end. And as sensitive as this rod is, you could barely tell. And that's why I'm using this tiny little tungsten today. They are so finicky. The last time we went out, it was a terrible trip. And it was just, I assume because of this cold snap that we have. But we found some good fish, or some better fish at least, and they seem to be able to eat just a little bit. So I've got high hopes. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was so rough to get that one to bite. We did have a group, not a group, 2 or 3 that were really decent. I would say they were probably pretty decent sized perch that rolled through, looked at this bait, got scared, and left. So, like, that's how wildly tough it is today, which is crazy. There's a little bit bigger one down there right now. Little guy. Let him go, see if we can't catch the better one down there. It has been so crazy tough today. And for them to get scared of something this small is just insane. And it definitely can't be the line or anything else like that always actually coming over to it. Gonna eat. Oh, he touched it. That was a good one too. Is he gonna bite again? Oh, he might. You're too big to be biting that finicky. Holy cow. Oh, that's a good gill. Like, that's what's crazy. A gill that's probably pushing 8.5, 8 3/4, barely moved the rod tip on this rod too, and he barely got hooked. Such a rough day. Our shiner, or our sucker's going crazy too. I wonder if there's a bass or pike in the area. Such a good gill, but it is so crazy tough. So if you are ever having a rough time, it might not be anything you are doing by any means. Fishing is not always easy. We've searched a long time to get that bite. Glad we were able to get one, but let's see if we can't get lucky and maybe they're starting to pick up a little bit. That's wishful thinking. But our shiner's going crazy. I don't see anything on live scope though. Alright, it has been a while since our last bite. What's crazy is there are big fish in the area. I've seen 2 pike stare at our sucker and want nothing to do with it. One of them probably pushed close to 40. It was massive and wanted nothing to do with it, which is not ideal. It has nothing to do with the leader because we're using something lighter than what I typically would for pike. I think it's 10-pound test because we were fishing for bass. So no idea as far as that goes. We have seen a fair number of, maybe not a fair number, but a few really good sized perch, well over 10 inches. There are a couple that probably looked close to 12 plus, and they were scared of, in whatever size jig this is, an 80 whatever ounce, maybe even smaller, I have no idea. It wanted nothing to do with it. They came 3 feet from it and booked, and it's that can't be our leader either because we have 2-pound test on. 2-pound test, and it's like 5 or 6 foot, so it's not like they can see the line or anything else like that. We closed up the windows to the shanty to prevent as much sunlight coming in to see if that wasn't it. Didn't matter. Fish still didn't want to bite, so there might be a window that we're looking for, but I'm not willing to sit here for another 3 hours trying to figure out if that's the case. So we will end up making one more move. Not a fan of doing that in sub-zero temperatures, but we'll make one more move, probably a somewhat drastic move, to see if we can't find some fish and actually get them to bite. Might not be a great idea to leave fish to find fish, especially seeing how decent the fish are around here, but I don't want to waste the entire rest of the day hoping that these fish eat at some point in time. So we'll move and hope for the best. Alright, we made it to our last spot for today. This is like a Hail Mary shot. Again, we left fish hopefully to find more active fish. I don't know if that's going to turn out to be a good idea or a bad idea, but we're going to find out in the next, we've got about an hour and a half left of fishing. So hopefully we were able to find some. I did see a couple on live scope before we actually, found a spot, but that was the same as the last spot we were at too. And as soon as we drilled, they all left and whatnot. So hopefully we'll have a little bit better luck and be able to catch a couple fish. Alright, we just had a big old pike roll through and I think took our sucker. Give it a second. I did end up putting on a leader. I don't think it's got it. I think it dropped it. Oh, it did. I see it on live scope. That was a big fish. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That was a big pike. There's some big ones around here, but just like the last place, getting stuff to bite is wildly more difficult. That was a big pike. That was not as big as the one we saw this morning, but that was probably a mid-30, maybe upper 30. Alright, keep waiting. Well, that is it for the worst day of ice fishing we've had all year by far. I guess that's why they call it fishing, because even with live scope, even with being able to find fish, that doesn't mean you can go ahead and catch them. We had made multiple stops along this lake, hundreds of yards from each other and stuff like that, and found fish pretty much everywhere, and couldn't get anything to bite, anything at all. We probably saw, I would say, 5 to 7 pike that were 30-inch plus. There could have been a couple that, you know, were the same fish that looped back around or something like that, but not a single one ate a shiner. And we used shiners of all sizes, or I guess they were suckers, but of all sizes. Didn't want anything to do with any of them. Saw a couple bass, they didn't want to touch it either. The number of big perch, for sure, there were probably some bluegill and crappie mixed in too, that were afraid of the smallest tungsten I have ever seen in my life, was insane. So many wouldn't come within 5 feet of our tungsten. They would be able to feel the vibration, see it, or whatever, from feet away on live scope, and they would just turn completely away, which is absolutely wild. Definitely one of the roughest days that we've had this year. Hopefully that doesn't continue. Obviously that's kind of what makes those great days even more special, because the next day that you go out could be like this. But those cold snaps, those cold fronts can definitely wreak havoc on your fishing. Hopefully weather kind of stabilizes a little bit. Next time we go out is going to be hopefully much better. Can't really be much worse, but I think this baby little tungsten, I am going to definitely use some more this year. I've historically always used lead when I'm trying to go like uber finesse, but being able to get that bait down there pretty quickly and still in that tiny little package, phenomenal. So I'm going to use that a lot, because using lead in any sort of relatively deep water at all, it can take so long for it to get down there, that a lot of times those fish can move on before you can even get it back in front of their face. So definitely going to use this a lot more. It caught fish really well. I don't know that we really missed anything short of the ones that would just nip on the end of our spikes. So I think everything that we hooked into we caught. So even the tiniest of hooks can catch fish relatively well. But as always, if you guys like the video, I can promise next time there will definitely be more fish, hopefully bigger fish too. But and if you want to see more videos like it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be greatly appreciated also. Till next one.